What is going on, internet world? My name is Tommy. You probably know me as Rivet, and I'm your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, the highest flying fly-stick team on YouTube. And we are here today with our Week 6 battle of the SDF against the Los Angeles Rowlets and Coach NightOwl. This is going to be a fantastic match. Welcome to the workshop. Alrighty guys, we are here breaking down our Week 6 matchup for the SDF against Coach NightOwl and the Los Angeles Rowlets. He's got a really scary team, but I think we have a pretty decent squad to take him on this week. His first mon is Mega Mawile, an incredibly scary wall breaker, a steel and fairy type with a huge power ability and intimidate free mega. He's got a fantastic move pool with stuff like Iron Heads, Flare Offs, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Fire Fang, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch. It can Swords Dance, it can Substitute, it can do a whole bunch of things. And obviously, huge power, base 105 attack, I believe. Is just absolutely monstrous. It hits so incredibly hard. Sucker Punch just forces some incredible mind games. Swords Dancing is just, an absolute hassle to deal with. So definitely scared of Mega Maw. I don't really have a whole lot to deal with it. I think he's got, a little bit of 4 move slot syndrome. So hopefully he gets the prep wrong and brings some moves that don't exactly pan out for him. So really hoping that works out, but definitely scared of Mega Maw. Next up is Rillaboom, very scary grass type with the Grassy Surge ability. Fantastic Choice Band and Swords Dance user with Grassy Glide in the late game, capable of smashing through teams. Wood Hammers also hit incredibly hard in terrain. Gets a decent move pool with stuff like Knockoff, High Horsepower, Drain Punch, and Superpower, and U-Turn. It can Swords Dance, like I said. It can run Grassy Seed to boost its stats up, and it can also run Acrobatics a little bit better as well. And then it can also just get some decent recovery thanks to Grassy Surge. So Rillaboom probably expecting it this match. It kind of does a whole bunch to my team. It can revenge Dragapult in the late game, and it can revenge Mega Gallade pretty easily. It also dents Gliscor and Tapu Fini pretty good. My team doesn't super love his coverage either, so obviously some of the stuff that's going to be, resisting those Grassy Glides like Ferroseed and Toxtricity. Not exactly going to love like a Superpower or a High Horsepower, especially at +2, so definitely got to watch out for Rillaboom. Next up is Tyranitar, a very bulky Rock and Dark type with the Sandstream ability. It's got a variety of great things it can do. It's a very solid stealth rocker. Stone Edges and Crunches hit pretty hard. It can run a bunch of different set of options like Dragon Dance. It can Rock Polish in conjunction with something like Weakness Policy, which is pretty scary. And it does have very good natural bulk in conjunction with the Sand, make it pretty solid as the defensive piece as well. So I could definitely see Tyranitar this week. It's a pretty solid switch into Toxtricity just because of the Sand. It's resisting Sludge Waves and Boom Burst. Overdrive won't do a whole lot, but I could be running something like Drain Punch. That's something he has to watch out for. And it does get thrashed by a couple other things on my team. Something like Gliscor if he's not rocking Ice Punch. Mega Gallade smashes right through it if he's not Chop Berry. And then something like a physically offensive Dragapult also does a decent chunk. So might not see Tyranitar this week, but he does like it, so I'm still probably expecting it. Next up is Nidoking, an incredibly offensive poisoning ground type with sheer force ability. It's got an absolutely phenomenal move pool and therefore a great wall breaking potential. Sludge Waves, Earth Powers, Flamethrowers, Ice Beams, Thunderbolts, Focus Blasts, all hit incredibly hard off, often Life Orb, Sheer Force. You can also run physical moves as well, something like Earthquake, Poison Jab, Crunch, Superpower, just to try to catch me by surprise. You can set Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes. It can run a Choice Scarf set as well. So definitely worried about Nidoking this week. It kind of shreds my defensive core. Fini, Gliscor, and Ferroseed all kind of just get bodied by it. I have a kind of sort of decent okay in something like Cryogonal. Flamethrower would do a decent chunk, but I can try to, scare him out with something, recover up, do some other shenanigans. So probably expecting Nidoking this match. Next up is Moltres, an incredibly versatile and bulky fire and flying type with the pressure and flame body abilities. Definitely expecting Moltres this week. It's one of his better answers to Mega Gallade, just because he has a pretty solid chance to burn me. With Flame Body, he obviously threatens me very hard with something like an Air Slash or a Hurricane. Scorching Sands can hit some stuff on my team. Toxtricity would obviously wallet pretty good if he didn't have that, so definitely expecting Moltres. I don't know if he knows that Gallade gets Rock Slide. As you'll see, Stone Edge rather. I'm bringing Stone Edge on Mega Gallade this week, so hopefully he doesn't know that, and I can pop it with something like that. But Moltres is definitely a hassle. Next up is Heliolisk, a very cool electric and normal type with the Dry Skin and Solar Power abilities. Got a very solid move pool, stuff like Thunderbolts and Bolts, which is Hyper Voices, hit pretty hard coming off Stab. It can Surf, Focus Blast, Dark Pulse, gets a couple other cool moves. It can Glare, gets Scale Shot to boost up in speed. It can run Choice Scarf and Choice Spec sets very easily. It can run Life Orb. It can run Assault Vest, as it does have some pretty decent bulk. So I could definitely see Heliolisk this week. I think a Choice Scarf set has a good bunch of merit, allowing it to outpace something like Dragon Pulse. Dragapult, it could hit me very hard with something like a Dragon Pulse or a Dark Pulse, and just kind of limit my wall breaking potential. So definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that. Next up is Hitmontop, a very versatile fighting type with the Intimidate and Technician abilities. Not expecting an Intimidate set this week, as it wouldn't really do a whole lot. Something like Mega Gallade obviously has Inner Focus blocking that, and he would boost up my Bisharp. So he definitely wouldn't want to take something like an Iron Head
I could definitely see a Technician set coming this week. Something like Mach Punch, that would hit Bisharp very, very hard. You could have Sucker Punch to hit something like Dragapult. And Triple Axle would hit Gliscor very, very hard. Or you can be running like Poison Jab or just Rapid Spin to remove Hazard. So not sure if Hitmontop comes. I could definitely see why it would come. But I don't think he's brought it yet this season. He might have brought it like once. And I think some other things on his team have a better chance of coming. Next up is Orbeetle. Pretty bulky bug and psychic type with the Frisk ability. It's a very solid sticky webber. It can do a couple other things. It can like Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Stored Power, Body Press, which is pretty spooky. Or it can just be a bulky pivoting set with U-turn. So if Orbeetle comes, probably just a sticky web setter. My team doesn't super love sticky webs. My removal isn't fantastic. And it would kind of hinder something like Mega Grenade. So if Orbeetle comes, I kind of have a cool tech to deal with it. Maybe he'll try to lead it and get webs up. I have a pretty sick option to try to get those back in his face. So that might be kind of cool. But I think he's got some better things to fill the slots this week. Next up is Klotzer. Very offensive water type with the Mega Launcher ability. Water Pulses, Dark Pulses, Aura Spheres all hit very, very hard. Also gets Ice Beam for coverage. I believe it can flip turn around now as well to make it a pretty decent pivot. It does have some decent bulk, but not really expecting Klotzer this week. Doesn't really do a whole lot to Feeny. Feeny kind of shuts down some other things on my team like Toxtricity, Dragapult, or that Feeny. They prevent it pretty okay. And then last but not least, he's got Dusclops, a very bulky ghost type, a fantastic Eviolite user with the pressure and frisk abilities. It can Nightshade, toss off Will-O-Wisps, toss off Trick Rooms. It can Pain Split for some recovery. But I'm not really expecting Dusclops this week. What it would check in something like Mega Gallade doesn't do very well. I can knock off its Eviolite, start Swords dancing up in its face, even if he willows me. I can do a couple other things. Once my Toxicor would be popped on something like Gliscor, I can go in on that, set up in front of it for days, just start clicking Earthquake. And he wouldn't be doing a whole lot to me and some other things on my team. It doesn't really want to take on. Could be a SDF set for something like Toxtricity as it's immune to Boom Burst and resisting those Sludge Waves. But again, something like Gliscor, Feeny, Mega Gallade, Dragapult, they all kind of send it for a pretty good ride. So not really expecting Dusclops this week. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into what I am bringing this match. Leading us off, once again, we are rocking J20 the Dragapult. Rocking a Choice Spec set this week with the Clear Body ability, Draco Meteor, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, and U-Turn. 252 in special attack with a modest nature to allow me to hit as hard as possible. 188 in speed, lets me outspeed a +1 Jolly Tyranitar if he happens to be a Dragon Dance set. And 72 in HP and then 4 in special defense just for a little bit of bulk. Let me try to take some hits from something like a Heliolisk if he doesn't have Dark or Dragon Pulse. Something like Nidoking if he's locked into Sludge Wave, something of the sort. So really liking this set this week. His Draco switch-in is Mega Mawile. Flamethrower obviously sends that for a pretty good ride. He doesn't have really good Shadow Ball answers. His best one is Tyranitar, and a U-turn is going to hit that pretty okay. Let me get into something else on my team. So really liking J20 this week. You know, Mawile, obviously Sucker Punch can do some shenanigans. If I mispredict the Draco and that thing comes in, then I'll be in a pretty tough spot, but I'm really liking him. It's a pretty good, solid late-game cleaning option, and if he does get webs up, it's not the end of the world, as I do have the Clear Body ability, so I'm not going to be lowering my speed. I can still do a whole lot of pressuring. His team is fairly slow, so I can just start bodying some stuff with Dracos, Shadow Balls, and Flamethrowers. Next up, we're rocking the Eminences Mega Gallade coming back with the Gallade and Justified ability pre-Mega. Close Combat, Knockoff, Stone Edge, and Swords Dance. Max Attack, 248 in speed with the Jolly Nature to let me outpace Max Speed Heliolisk, and then just the rest thrown into HP. He does not have good close combat switch-ins. His best switch-in is Dusclops. Dusclops definitely doesn't want to take a knockoff, nor does Orbeetle. Stone Edge is there for that Moltres that wants to come and switch in. He can obviously try to burn me, but if I hit my Stone Edge, it's going to just kind of thrash that thing, even if he's fully physically defensive. He definitely doesn't want to take that. If I'm at +2, he doesn't really have anything that takes this on. Rillaboom, if he's something like Choice Band, can come in and revenge me. But I have some decent answers to try to come in against that, so I'm not super scared of it. But otherwise, this thing just kind of bodies his team. I'm not running Zen Headbutt, as I think I need Knockoff and Stone Edge more. So something like Nidoking, if he's like defensive for whatever reason, he can probably take a hit if I'm not at +2. But knocking off a Choice Scarf or something like a Life Orb would be pretty sick against that thing. Next up, we are rocking Tapu Fini Esperanza, coming with a physically defensive set this week with the Leftovers and the Misty Surge ability, Scald, Moonblast, Haze, and Magic Coat. Got 196 in defense with the Bold Nature, 248 in HP, and then 64 in speed. The speed investment lets me outspeed a fully speed invested Adamant Tyranitar, just so I can hit it with a Moonblast or Scald to try to burn it. This is a decent switch into Tyranitar. I'm resisting crunches. If he's uninvested, Stone Edge doesn't do a whole lot. This is also a kind of decent answer to Mega Mawile. If he knocks off my Leftovers, not the end of the world. Player Offs and Iron Heads obviously does a lot, but I can Scald him. That'll do a decent chunk. I can Haze away any Swords Dances he wants to set up. And then I've got Magic Coat on here. I didn't think I really needed any other moves onto this thing. I could have run Draining Kiss for a little bit of recovery, but it didn't do a whole lot. But I really like the option if he leads, or if he brings Orbeetle. He's been leading it a lot, so I can try to Magic Coat some webs back if he doesn't think, you know, I'd have that. So I would love to have webs up. It'd force him to defog with something like Moltres. and it would let Eminences do his job a whole lot better if he doesn't have something like Choice Scarf Heliolisk or something sitting in the back. Speaking of Choice Scarf, next up we are running Checkmate the Bisharp. Checkmate running a Choice Scarf set this week with the Defiant ability. Knock off Ironhead, Stone Edge, and Stealth Rock. 252 in attack with the Adamant Nature, 228 in speed, and then 48 in HP. Knock off looks really, really good for spamming this week. I can knock off something, like Boots on Moltres if that wants to come in. Knock off like a Smooth Rock on Tyranitar. Knock off like an Assault Vest on something like Hitmontop. Ironhead is just good for spamming in the late game. He doesn't have good steel switch-ins. His best switch-in is that Moltres, and that definitely doesn't want to take a Stone Edge. And then the early game when I don't want to predict, or I just want to try to get some hazards up, I do have Stealth Rock on here. If I do happen to knock off Boots on Moltres, obviously Stealth Rock is going to be doing a ton to that. And just residual chip if he's something like a pivoting Heliolisk or Rillaboom, or Beetle if he's not Boots on that. That's just good for chipping down the team, letting J20 and Ammon kind of run havoc, wreak havoc all over him. So really liking the set this week. Defiant is also there if he's something like Intimidate on Hitmontop, or if he does get webs up. I'm going to be absolutely smacking some stuff with some moves, or if he gets like a cheesy special defense drop on something like a Dark Pulse from Heliolisk. So really liking Checkmate this week. I hope he can clean up in the late game. Next up, we are rocking Fire, the Talonflame with the bulky support set this week with the heavy duty boots and the flame body ability, Flamethrower, U-turn, Will-O-Wisp, and Roost. 248 in HP, 120 in speed. With the Jolly Nature, this lets me outspeed max speed, non-Choice Scarf Heliolisk, and then the rest turn into defense to let me take on some hits from Mega Mawile. This is my primary switch into Rillaboom. Rillaboom can't super duper hurt me. If he's something like Choice Band Knockoff, it'll do a lot. I have a decent chance to burn him with Flame Body. Then he's locked into that if he's Choice Band. Grassy Glides aren't doing a whole lot. I can Roost off the damage, try to fish for a burn. I can U-turn around on something like Moltres coming in. Flamethrower hits Rillaboom and Mega Mawile very, very hard. And I can Will-O-Wisp into a couple different things. A Willow on pretty much anything is fantastic, except for something like Heliolisk or Flots or whatever. But, Willowing onto Mega Maw on a predicted Sucker Punch is great. Or, Rillaboom, T-Tar if it wants to come in. Willow, and that is also fantastic. Or just any chip on something like Dusclops or Nidoking. And then last but not least, we got Andros the Cryogonal coming back with a specially defensive set this week with heavy duty boots and the Levitate ability, Ice Beam, Toxic Recover, and Defog. I have 248 HP in here, 200 speed with the Calm Nature. This lets me outspeed, max speed, Timid, Nidoking, and then 60 in special defense with the Calm Nature to just let me be as bulky as possible. This is my primary switch into Nidoking. If he happens to be a physically offensive set with something like Superpower or Stone Edge or something of the sort, that's great ring. Flamethrower definitely does a lot. It does a little, sometimes over half, but I can try to recover it off. Ice Beam does a whole lot to that guy. He definitely doesn't want it to stay in for multiple Ice Beams. I don't think Claws are coming, so I'm running Ice Beam over Freeze Dry just for a little bit more consistent damage on something like Nidoking or Rillaboom if he wants to switch in and be aggressive. Moltres can come in on this fairly freely, so I can Toxic on that. I can get a Toxic on that. Dusclops as well. Recover just for longevity. And then I'm running Defog over Rapid Spin this week just because, if Rillaboom does come in or if Grassy Terrain is up, I love being able to try to get rid of that terrain so he can't Grassy Glide around. He could also bring Dusclops. I don't think he would, but if it does come, it's a very reliable switch into this thing, and I don't want to get spin blocked, especially if he's got sticky webs up. So I like just being able to get rid of the terrain. If he happens to taunt me and I can't defog, then again, fantastic prep. But I'm really liking this set this week. I want to keep sticky webs off the field, and I don't want to lose to Nidoking because Nidoking just kind of bodies my team. So that is the team we are rocking with this week. This is definitely going to be a really tough match. I do want to try to win this. We had a little bit of good luck in how the other matches went down last week, so we are doing a little bit better than we were. I want to try to keep the winning streak alive just to give us some momentum going into playoffs. So if we win this, we'll be 4-2. We're still at a very, very close race in our division. Heg is still right above us, and Gator is right below us, so it's incredibly tight. So with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Alrighty guys, we are about to hop into this Week 6 matchup against NightOwl and the Los Angeles Rowlets. You can see the 6 I expect them to bring up on the screen. Mega Mawile, Rillaboom, Tyranitar, Nidoking, Moltres, and that Heliolisk. I could absolutely also see Hitmontop or something like that, or Beetle in there. But you've seen the 6 I am bringing and why I am bringing them. If you haven't, go check out the team builder. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Okay, we do see Hitmontop instead of Lisk. Definitely not surprised. You see that. Definitely got to watch out for that Hitmontop then. Scarf, Bisharp is going to be less useful than I would like, but I can try to get that out of the way. So from a lead perspective, he could absolutely lead Rilla to pivot. He could lead Tyranitar to set hazards and set sand. He could lead Moltres to pivot. He could lead Mawile to threaten me or set rocks. I kind of like leading Fire. I can pivot on pretty much anything and just, scout what he's going to do. So let's do that. Let's lead Fire. Alright, he's gonna lead Rilla. You could just go straight for knockoff here on me going for U-turn. or you could U-turn yourself. But I'm just going to go straight for a U-turn here. I don't think I have any reason not to. You probably just go straight into Moltres. And that's going to give me an opportunity to try to get into J20 and click and move. Or I could be really aggressive and go into... I don't want to miss a Stone Edge, so I could just go into Esmeralda. But let's just click U-turn here. Yeah, he's just going to go straight into Moltres. Bink. A critical hit did 2%. That's epic. This is definitely just a Fizz Def one. He now sees that I'm, not attack invested. Yeah, he's max, I guess. So if I go into Pult here, Pult tickles something. I can just click Shadow Ball for a 2-shot. He can Roost and see what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go into Pult. I'm going to probably dent something. If he goes, I could also just U-turn and go into Esperanza or Fyro. He can also U-turn if he expects me to click it again. A U-turn would hurt Tyranitar a decent chunk. It would do like a quarter. Because I don't think he'll go into Mawile because a Flamethrower would be a little too free. And he needs this thing for Moltres, so I'm going to click U-turn again. Yeah, T-Tar just comes out. Very cool. Boink. 27. Super cool. You don't have any Fizz Def investment. So even if you're Chople Berry for whatever reason, Ammon just kind of pops off. So let's go into the lad. See leftovers, so no Chople Berry. I cannot imagine you staying for this. If you go into Moltres and I get burned, that would be tragic. But I've made 2 predictions thus far. I don't really know what you can do to hit me, though. You could go into Rilla on my SD and pressure me pretty hard with a Grassy Glide. So you know what? I'm actually going to click Close Combat here. If you go in, I could also just click Stone Edge. Because you need Rilla for the late game. Let's just click Stone Edge immediately and see what happens. Yeah, Moltres comes out, hit it. Stone Miss. Stone Miss. Diggity darn. Tragic, but what are you going to do? I hate to see it. But you know what? An 80% chance is better than the 0% chance I had of killing with Rock Slide, so... Oh, that's alright. I can click it again. He can go into Emma or top to try to take that a little bit better. Because I can't imagine you try to stay in for another one. Oh, what do I want to do? A U-turn is pretty obvious. I definitely don't want to stay in for a Hurricane or something of this sort. I don't think he'll take the risk that I hit the next one. Because even if he's Fizz Def, he's going to get squished. I'm going to click it again. Emma just comes out this time. 31. I should have clicked CC that time. That was kind of stupid of me. Mawile. I don't think a Sucker will do enough to where I don't want to just stand and click Close Combat against this guy. Stone Edge did. Yeah, you look to be probably uninvested on the physical. Yeah, you're uninvested in HP, it looks like. So if you're like... a Sucker does 63 max and CC kills. So I'm going to click it. Goodbye. Well, there goes that guy. So now I get to have Fyro as dedicated Rilla. No way you don't just click U-turn here. You can just go for knockoff or SD. That would also be bad. Let's go into Talonflame. He's just going to go for knockoff. Did a lot. No burn. Tragic. Roost it off. Probably just goes into T-Tar here or King. Probably King to pressure me. Because T-Tar, he knows I can just U-turn, yeah. This guy comes out hard into... Oh, I got Grassy Terrain recovery because I roosted. How nice. I'm going to go into Andros here. He's probably going to set his rocks. And I'm going to defog. If he goes for Flamethrower and Cool Play, I'll be able to gauge some damage, see if he's Life Orb or not. Oh, he's just going to double into Heroin. Very good play. You bad and stinky guy. Let's just go into... I can be really aggressive and go into Checkmate. I don't hate that play. I just go for a nice Iron Head or Stone Edge into Moltres. I don't super need Ammon. Checkmate. So, but if you go for EQ, you're a baller. So I'm just going to go into Bisharp. He's going to set his Rockies. I can set my own Rockies or go for Stone Edge again, which would be pretty funny if I hit the second one on Moltres coming in. I think that'd be funny, so I'm going to click it. Take 2, question mark? No, we stayed in for this one.
He's going to EQ. Well, thank you, Grassy Terrain, for letting me gobble that up. I love you. I'm just going to go into Ronza this time. He's just going to click it again, probably. Oh, he just goes into top to play. Yeah, I don't see Intimidate. You're definitely Technician. I threatened pretty hard with a Moonblast. I'm just going to click. I don't know what you have to hit me. I don't think you have anything. You probably go into Gorilla or... I don't know what you go into against this guy. Frankly. If I was offensive, I would be in a 6-bar right now. But I'm not. So, if I were to bet, you probably go into Nidoking to try to take a Moonblast. I don't think you'd risk a burn on Rilla because you would get rid of my terrain. I'm just going to click Scald and see what he does. Yeah, Rilla comes out. Please burn. That'd be sick. No. Alright, well, I lost my boots and these rocks are up, so tragic. I gotta see how much that knockoff did on Talonflame. I'm pretty sure that was Choice Band, but I gotta double check to make sure you're not like... Knockoff did 54. Yeah, your Choice Band, Adamant. Or Choice Band, that was like a high roll on Choice Band Jolly. So realistically, I could go into Fyro and try to start roosting. Because the best you can do is knockoff, and it wouldn't do nearly enough because I lost my boots. So let's just do that, I guess. Worst case scenario is I die. With Woodhammer. Squish. Burn. On God. No, roost. Gonna click it again. Burn this time. Nope. I want to see what that roll is on Woodhammer to see if I want to keep risking a burn. I don't know how that did that little. Good Jolly. That was a min roll on Jolly. So after I roost here, I have a pretty solid chance to live it. I think you're going to go into T-Tar this time though. So I'm going to click roost. Yeah, T-Tar. I could Willow this thing. But realistically, I mean, how much do I need it for Rilla? I'm going to go into Checkmate. I'm going to U-turn into... I can either go into Ammon or Checkmate or Esperanza. I'm going to try to keep this guy around. I want to try to get these Rockies out of here. Oh, he's just going to go into Moltres. I can go into Pult. Click Draco. You don't have to switch anymore. So this should be Hasta Luego to something. Goodbye. Rilla's probably going to come in and click Knockoff. I'm just going to let Talonflame go down. Yep. And then what depending on what he goes into, I'm going to go into Checkmate and try to click Ironhead. So, bye Fyro. You tried your best, buddy, but losing those boots was tragic. Goodbye. Alright, well. He's locked into Knockoff, so I can do a couple things here. I can go into Ammon and just click CC. I can go into J20 and try to click Draco again. Because that body's something. You can go into Heroin that time. I think I like clicking CC. It should just kill. Let's see. He already got his HP restoration, so this will totally kill. He's locked in Knockoff, I know that. So he'll probably just go into Nidoking. That thing could be Choice Scarf, though, and I don't want to risk it that it's not. Because 2 knockoffs. Knockoff into a CC might kill Nidoking. I could also go into Andros and click Defog. I don't necessarily want to do that. I could also just go into Bisharp and click Ironhead. Yeah, let's do it. Top's gonna come out. This is gonna do a decent chunk. 42. Alright. He's either gonna click Mach Punch or something, or he's gonna double into Rilla if I were to bet, or Nidoking. Yeah, it doubles into Nidoking. And I'm gonna try to get these rocks out of here. This is my opportunity to try to do that. He could double into T-Tar. That'd be another great play. Flamethrower, just Sludge Wave. 30.
That thing is definitely Choice Scarf. That didn't do nearly enough to me. Sludge Wave did 30. Choice Scarf. Yep, he's Choice Scarf. T-Tar is going to come out here. I can defog. That's going to force him to set rocks, but I can get into Ammon and click a move, so let's do that. Yep. He's just going to set those again, or he's going to click Crunch. Either way, I'm going to go into Ammon and try to put on some pressure. He's going to set his Rockies again. Click the funny move. I mean, you can go into Nidoking. I'm going to knock off your Choice Scarf. I bet you come out. Pink. And then I think a CC picks you off, so let's look. Oh, Rilla's going to come out. I think you die. Alright, well, Rilla's out of the way. Very cool. Out of way, I'm in a way to put in some work. Senor Top is going to come out. Let's see. You get Sucker Punch, you get Fake Out, you get Mach Punch. I bet you go for Fake Out. Or Sucker. I'm just going to go into Esperanza. Reset my my drop on Ammon. Because I don't want to take a Fake Out at -1, especially if you're like Technician fully invested. That would like really clap me. And I would take Sandstorm as well. So going to Feeny. Oh, he's just gonna miss an Axel. Very sorry. That's just rude at that point. I'm just gonna click Scald. Make sure King can't come out. Die question mark? Die question mark, or die exclamation point. Good job, Ronza. And then T-Tar is so bulky that Ronza might not do enough. Moonblast is 28% LMAO. I should be able to go safely into Ammon. The worst he can do is crunch me, and it does under half, and I should be able to just click CC, so I'm just gonna not screw around. Just go for it. He's just gonna click EQ. That is a lot, but didn't kill me. CC. Oh, that crit totally didn't matter, I'm sorry. Alright, and then I'm just gonna pivot back into Ronza so that he can't fake me out. Or anything of the sort, but Mach Punch. Not going to do enough. Click Moonblast here. And that's going to be GG's. That's what I call a riveting win. Very good game to NightOwl. Thanks for getting this in, buddy. So moving on to 4-2 in the SDF. Very solid battle to get back after that after a little bit of a spooky game against Heg last week. So very good match. So thank you guys very much for watching this match. If you enjoyed the battle, please be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. Leave a like for NightOwl. He played a very good game. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.